Microsoft Edge. This does work in other browsers, so if you use Firefox, Chrome, Safari, your results should be similar, if not the same. We have tested and ensured that it does work, but the way to get to our Answer Clinic is completely different. WSU migrated our SharePoint site into Microsoft's cloud service. Microsoft Office 365 is a cloud service, and many people, myself included, subscribe to Microsoft Office 365 personally, which means that we have an account, a user account with Microsoft. And sometimes that creates confusion with the Answer Clinic because the Answer Clinic now has an Outlook account in the cloud. It does not have a Microsoft Office account in the cloud. And the reason why I mention that is that normally there are multiple ways to get to the same place, but in the Answer Clinic's case, there's really only one way right now to get into the Answer Clinic. If you try other methods, you will end up in a place of confusion like I frequently am when I'm doing this. So the way to get into our Answer Clinic SharePoint site is the same way that you're going to get into the inbox. So you're not going to go to the inbox from SharePoint like we used to. We're going to start in the inbox. And you do that by going to outlook.com. Just type that in the address book. And the first thing you're going to see, if you happen to have a Microsoft Office 365 account in your own, with your own email address, is it'll come into your own personal inbox. This is not going to get you to our SharePoint, to our Answer Clinic inbox. So the first thing I have to do here, you can see I'm logged in as myself. I have to sign out of Outlook. And then when I sign out of Outlook, I'm so tempted to click this little sign in button that you can see on the screen. Can everybody see that? That I'm pointing to? If I click this sign in button and I change to Garden EM, it tells me there isn't a Microsoft account for Garden EM. This is a question I've gotten. Oh my gosh, I can't get into Garden EM. Well, Garden EM does not have a Microsoft Office account. It only has an Outlook account through Clark County. Outlook is like a subset of Microsoft Office. So what you have to do is you have to go back and retype in outlook.com and click the sign in button here. And then you can come down to the user and sign into Garden EM at clark.wa.gov. And like always, the password for the email is flowers. Right now it's flowers47. It changes every 90 days. So if flowers47 doesn't work, try flowers48. So you click sign in, and all of a sudden we are now in the inbox for the Answer Clinic. Can everybody see this? Nod your head or thumbs up if you can see. Okay, good. I can only see a few of you on the screen since I'm sharing mine. So you can see here we've got the inbox. There are a couple of emails. One is from yesterday. This one, MGFCC, is the one I just told you about. Somebody asking for a professional master gardener. I forwarded it to the Answer Clinic, and the Answer Clinic replied to the foundation. They did not reply to the client. So when you get these, at the bottom you will notice that the email from the original client is right here, and that's where your response should go, not to the foundation. So just wanted to point that out when you're in the Answer Clinic and you get these emails from MGFCC. That's what they are. I do not attempt to answer any Answer Clinic type questions from the foundation. Maintain that separation. So anyway, back to our SharePoint. We're now in the Answer Clinic's inbox. We have changed the calendar. I'll show you that first. we have decided not to use SharePoint for the calendar for scheduling the answer clinic because Outlook.com has its own calendar. If you by chance have any experience using Outlook.com or Microsoft for your personal email, you probably have seen this, but in the lower left corner of the screen there's a little calendar icon, and if you click on that it brings up the calendar. This is our new Answer Clinic calendar. You can click on New Event to schedule yourself your Answer Clinic shift. If you click on these three little dots in the upper left corner, it makes the screen bigger so you can see more of the calendar and who is actually signed up. So this toggles back and forth, turning on the left bar. You know, the left bar is handy if you want to go to a specific date, see what's going on there. So this is how you do the Answer Clinic. I'm going to go back to, I can click on today, it'll show me who's on today. Becca signed up for today, but this is how you sign up for shifts. Any questions there? I'm not going to go into any real detail. This works exactly the way it did before. You know, your name followed by a V or a T, and then the date and the time, just like always. I'm going to click discard here, but that's the first thing. So we no longer go to SharePoint for the Answer Clinic calendar. The next thing I want to show you is how to get to our SharePoint site. I haven't figured out a bookmark that works. The only way that I've been able to get to the SharePoint site is through this Outlook site. That's why I created a SharePoint folder. So in the folders in the inbox, you'll see a folder that's called SharePoint. It has one email in it. Now, over time, this email could change as we add more information, as we tune this, as we get better experience with it. But right now, there is one email. Take a look at that email, and you'll see there are two links here. There's a link to get to the Answer Clinic log. There's a link to get to the MG references. And this is just some quick instructions on what we're doing. You know, the changes that have been made, the calendar piece you just saw. I'm going to click on either one of these. I only really have to click on one because I can get to the other place from SharePoint. So when I click on one of these links, it's going to open up our new SharePoint site. And here we go. Okay, this is the new Answer Clinic log. You can see we have fewer buttons. This is pretty much the same as it was before, but I've removed two buttons. The buttons that I removed, best answers for commonly asked questions, and the user guide. And the reason why I removed the user guide button is that the user guide linked to a very lengthy document that was created in 2014 that needs a lot of work before it is relevant to today. So we've decided to wait, and sometime later when the new class gets trained, Becca and I and Erica may work on updating that. But in the meantime, there is a quick start sheet that Becca's going to send out after today's demonstration, so you'll be able to look at that and try it out for yourself. And all should work pretty much the same. One thing to be aware of is that I did some cleaning of our Answer Clinic database. We had like 6,600 records in there. It was starting to get pretty big and started to have some performance problems. So as part of this transition, I moved all of the log records prior to 2018 into a separate list. If you wanted to go back and look at old records, you can do that here on the left. Log records prior to 2018. It will open up a view of all of those old records. And I can go back to the Answer Clinic log page. Navigating is just a little bit different, and You'll see at the top here we have a navigation to the Answer Clinic log and the MG references. That initial page is not here. It does exist, and you will get there if you go to the resources page, but the reason why that first page doesn't exist is that was where the calendar was. And until and unless we decide that that first administrative page has value, I have not bothered to update it. So we're really only working in the Answer Clinic log and the references. Okay, any questions there? This new version of SharePoint has a slightly different interface. So like when I click on new question, the window looks a bit different, but it's the same information. And you can see here we're in Office 365 at this point, but it's the same information. And I can click the cancel button to go back. If I click all questions, I'm going to see about 2,500 questions, which are the questions that we've had since 2018. And then at the bottom of the screen, this looks pretty much the same. These are the open, or you can see there are several open questions, pending questions. Process them the same way you have always processed those. Any questions about this page? Should not be any different. MG references is just a little bit different. I moved best answers for commonly asked questions over to references because this is the page that you go to research answers for the client's questions. And so Becca suggested that best answers for commonly asked questions is better suited here. And one major change I made to the best answers for commonly asked questions is I moved all of those records from the Answer Clinic log into a separate list. So it is now organized by topic and keyword. So you can easily go through topics and keywords and find best answers to commonly asked questions. It's organized very similarly to MG favorites. Only these are actually crafted as answers for Answer Clinic. So there's the question. I'm probably going to need to do a little bit of work here to reorganize how this shows up so that the response shows here. But in theory, what you can do here is you can go to one of these questions and you can just copy and paste the answer. You can copy this answer and paste it in your, there it is, lengthy question, the lengthy answer. The question is, my apple leaves have a fungus on them, and here's the response. So best answers for commonly asked questions is now another reference. And I don't know if Becca's thinking about adding more of these, but I think there are about somewhere between 40 and 50 of them. But at least they're organized, they're easier to find. MG information and contacts. This should look familiar to you. This is the big table. If you click on the SharePoint quick reference, it's going to open up the document that Becca will be sending you about how to get into this new site. And yes.
Would you click on the soil testing, because it's still not working for me?
I'm glad you brought it up. I didn't get around to looking at that, so I'll deal with that after today's class. It'll be fixed.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks for bringing that up. And yeah, if anything here doesn't work, just shoot me an email, and if I'm not out of town, then I will get to it as quickly as I can. There are a few links that got broken in here, and I just need to fix them. But no problems there. I think most of this stuff should work okay. One thing I do want to point out is when you're in the Master Gardener resources, all of a sudden you see Clark County Master Gardeners, our main page, show up again. That's because this piece of our SharePoint site was stored under the main page. And now that main page is no longer being used, if you click on it, it's going to look pretty weird. That's because I have not done, this is what all of the pages looks like, by the way. After they completed their migration, all 3 pages looked just like this. So then I had to go and rebuild them. This one I have not done any real work on, and I won't until Erica and Becca and you guys decide if it's worthwhile and what you'd like to see on this particular page. At this point, I'm not planning to do anything more here. So you get here, don't worry about it, just click on Answer Clinic Log or MT References, and it will take you right back to where you are. So that's about it. This is this is pretty much works the same way as it did before. The list down the left side are useful links. Again, this is new for all of us. The way this works is very different. For those of you that happen to be on other Master Gardener teams, you may get an invite from Erica to join Microsoft Teams, in which case you're going to have to create a Microsoft account for yourself, personal account, and that can create that little bit of confusion. But once you get used to how this operates, it's pretty straightforward. Any questions?
I had a quick question regarding in the inbox, when I click on a message, at least when I tested it, I had a separate window pop up with Office 365 and it just spun. And I assume it's because I'm not a subscriber to Office 365. Has anybody else experienced that?
You mean this, when you opened it up, you got here, outlook.office365.com?
No, it was just like if I'm in just the inbox and I click on a message, and on the right side you can see the message. But if I double click that, I actually get a separate window pop up trying to open it up as a separate message.
Like I just did? Did you?
Yeah, doesn't look like that.
Oh.
No, it doesn't look like that.
What kind of a system are you using?
I'm using Firefox. I could try a different browser, see if it does it in that.
Yeah.
It might be that.
I have run into some confusion because apparently Clark County created the GardenEM user account, but they did not give that account access to their Office 365 license. And I've run into this with Erica's laptop because I use her laptop for the foundation to create mailing labels, not mailing labels, plant labels for the plant sale. And the problem that I've run into is that I get this error message that, I can't open up Microsoft Excel, which I need to. I can't open that because I don't have a license to it. And it has to do with the way Clark County has implemented Office 365 for the Answer Clinic. So I've asked the question. I haven't really gotten an answer about whether GardenEM can get a full Office 365 license through the county. I think part of this is it's so new, even to Annette and the rest of the county folks, that that people are still trying to feel their way through how this all works. But yeah, I'm very new to Office 365 in the cloud, and even though I've had a subscription to it for a few years, I've only used it to keep my software up to date on my computers at home. So I've never really used this cloud environment, and it's interesting. I will tell you that it is interesting, and it comes with a few things that I don't really understand yet, but getting to know it a little bit better. And I think the take-home message, Pam, you have a question?
Yeah, I'm on a really new Mac computer. Will this work okay on a Mac?
Yes, because you're going to be doing it either in Safari or on my Mac, I have an iMac, a desktop, and I use Google Chrome is my primary
Okay.
browser. It works fine in either one of those.
Okay, thank you. Because I know sometimes Apple's a little goofy with Microsoft. Thanks.
Yeah, you should not have any trouble. It's just a completely different way of functioning, and it's just a matter of getting used to it. But once you do, you'll find it works pretty much the same as it did before. So that's pretty much all I have, unless anybody has any more questions. I'll stop sharing and I'll turn it back to Becca.
I was wondering if we had somebody who might be willing to let us watch you try these steps. Somebody who hasn't been able to get in, are you willing to share your screen and let us watch? And would that be helpful to folks?
I think
Would
yeah.
that be helpful to you to watch somebody try to do it?
I think so.
So is there somebody who hasn't gotten in, but you've seen what has happened today and you think you could show us? Kristen Clark, you want to go ahead?
Sure.
I could barely see your fingers. You're raising your hand very low.
I know.
Would you like to open up the browser and then click on share screen and let us watch you do that?
All right. All right. Before I do that, let me make sure everything on my screen is actually legitimately not weird. Okay. Yep. No, it's just my schedule. That's very exciting. Oh, where did you go? There you are. Okay. Let's do this.
And you know how to share screen?
I click the share screen button.
Okay. And now you should have. Okay. So we can see your document. Are you able to pull up a browser? Yes. Okay.
This is my browser. I am a tabber, so just people go with that.
Yeah.
I know people are like.
So do you want to talk us through what you're doing? You're going to Outlook.com.
Right. I'm going to Outlook.com. I actually do not have a MSN or a Office or any of those, so I'm going to move you guys out of my way. I'm going to sign in. Okay, now I am on a Linux machine, so just FY. So it's, what is the email address again? Master
Garden EM at
Outlook.
No. At
Clark.
Clark.wa.gov.
.wa.gov.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next. Okay, flower 8047.
I believe is there an S?
Yes.
Flowers 47.
Capital F.
Oh, capital F. Thank you. No, I don't want to save it.
You could say yes here, and then it doesn't. Then you're logged in whenever you come back to this.
Okay. I typically would say no to that, but if you guys don't care. All right, so I'm in.
And what's the first thing you're going to do when you get in?
I'm going to check my inbox.
You could do that. What
folders. I take it like SharePoint. I take that back. I'm going to go to SharePoint. There we go. Oh, it's a double click. That's going to be interesting.
And you're in.
And I'm in.
Well, you make it look easy.
Nope. No, I don't know what I'm doing. Here it is. So, I mean, it was actually really easy, which that's nice. What advice do you have when to cut tree limbs down? Call an arborist. No, just kidding.
So is it easier? Do you find it easier now to toggle back and forth between the question, the email, and the Answer Clinic log than it was before?
Yeah, because actually, if I really wanted to, nope, I can't do that. Let's see, can I do?
Yeah, you click the edit button. See that little icon, the edit icon there on the left there? That'll open it up for editing.
Okay. So, question is, they want my son to cut limbs off of a fir tree. Well, I would ask more questions. Like, why do you want to cut the limbs off? Are they too low? But, so you hit the edit button, and then you can hit cancel, because then I haven't done anything, so it stops me from opening that one up, and nothing is saved. Yeah, this is actually pretty cool.
So if you go back to the inbox, just like before, you're going to process those. You're going to process those emails just like you did before. The folders that you move emails to after you have entered them in the log is under archive. If you click the left arrow next to archive, go down to archive.
There it is.
That arrow. Click next to 2020, the left arrow. Then you can see the months, and that's where you're moving all of those emails to. As soon as an email is in the log, you should move it into the appropriate folder.
Okay, so the emails show up here on the home page.
No, they do not. They show up in Outlook.
They show up here. So
Yes.
So let's say that, do you mind if I move this one really quick?
Why don't you go to the inbox, or actually check the junk mail. Chunk the junk mail.
Aha. Erica, there you are.
Oh, my messages are going to junk, huh?
I have no say in that. But so let's say that this was one of those. I could move that, say, to August.
Yes.
And then, so once I move it into the 2020, then it shows up here.
No, it never automatically shows up here. You have to create a new question, and you have to manually enter that, just as we always had to.
Okay. All right.
You can actually leave it in there. That was just a conversation about our phone getting full of messages.
So then I would take that, go over here, and then put in all the new question information. Okay.
Correct.
So where it says drafts, I always get nervous when we have drafts because I always wonder what's going on there. Does anybody know what these drafts are created this morning?
Well, that's actually me. I started working the clinic early and then ran out of time. I was just going to forward that information that accidentally got forwarded back to, or replied back to the foundation. I was going to copy paste that content into an email for the client.
Okay. So you meant to do that.
Just sitting in my laptop waiting for me.
Okay, so does anyone else have any questions about all this?
Well, I don't have a question, but I have a comment, Erica.
Yeah.
So if you go back, don't stop sharing yet. If you go back to the SharePoint folder, where that email was, no, in Outlook.
Outlook, the inbox. Or
no, down.
Here?
Down.
Here?
There.
Okay.
And you click there. And click on just single click there. So and then over on the right, go down. Okay, okay, so you already opened the Answer Clinic. If you just go ahead and click on MG references, it'll give you a separate tab for that, so you can easily go back and forth.
Correct.
Yeah, you can do it that way, or you'll notice on this page, there's also a link to Answer Clinic log at the top left, next to home.
We've got a question in the chat box. How do you get to the calendar? Oh, look at you go. Can you tell us what you're doing?
Okay, so once you get into here, you can, on the lower left-hand corner, you have mail, or you have next to it the pretty little calendar. So if you click on the calendar, it will open up the calendar, and ta-da! There it is, in all of its beautiful glory. So,
okay, thank you.
And so if you want to go in and sign up for an event, I would click new event, correct?
Yes.
All right, so click a new event. And we wait, and usually mine yells at me, says everything's slow. And then so I would put my name, with a big T next to it. Now, the one thing is be careful of the date, because I've done that in my other Google calendars. But if you click on the calendar right next to date, you can pick one day. So let's say I picked the 27th from, I don't know, how long does it matter if you're actually just running the clinic? Does it matter how long I put you in there for?
Well, it's good to remind folks it's 11:30 to 3 for Thursday and Friday.
11:30 to 3. I guess I'm running the clinic. Answer it. Veteran, please sign up with me.
And then you're going to hit save.
And then hit save up here on the left-hand side. And there I am on the 27th.
One question that I think it was Martha may have brought this up is that she didn't see herself signed up, and you'll see on the 7th, the 14th, the 10th, and the 11th, there are 3 dots. It doesn't show anybody's name. Go ahead and click on one of those. Then you can see who signed up. So sometimes if there isn't enough room for everybody that signed up, you'll just see the 3 dots, and that's what you need to do to see everything.
And do you just click on someone's name if you're adding yourself to the same day?
No, just click on the date, I believe. Don't click on their name because you're editing their entry.
Oh, okay.
But if you click on the date and you double click there, I think it'll bring up a new event on that date. Yep.
It does.
Event on that date.
Perfect.
So someone in the chat box asked if we're still recording hours, and the answer is yes. We've probably got as many hours this quarter as we always have, because we've got so much going on. There's a question saying, is there a way to set times for the answer clinic so that they default to the correct hours?
Not that I know of. I do not know a way to do that.
Unless you want,
there isn't a way to do it, it's that I don't know how. So,
unless you are a person who sets a recurring meeting and you want to do every Thursday or something.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
what
you
are the
can do that.
what are the hours on Tuesday and Wednesday? 10
to 2.
10 to 2, and we don't do it Monday anymore.
Well, we certainly can. We haven't generally done it Monday because the office isn't open, but we can absolutely sign up for Monday.
Okay. And 10 to 2 would be.
And we have had people through the summer when it's busier working on Mondays, and we still ask that you put your name on the calendar so that we know that there's someone in there recording logs or looking at the inbox for the emails. And so essentially what the Monday person does, like what Pam did yesterday, was she just went in and recorded all of the emails, all of the voicemails, so that when I come in and work today's shift, everything's waiting there for me. So it takes less time, because often when you have Saturday, Sunday, when people are home from work working in their gardens, and then Monday we were closed, that's a lot of emails and voicemails that tend to get stacked up. And so it kind of bogs down the Tuesday person.
Got a couple of comments and questions.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I find it much easier to get photographs into the log with this new SharePoint.
Oh, good.
I save them to the desktop, and then when you do an attachment, you can actually import them with one click rather than 2 steps. It's more streamlined.
Wonderful.
And then, my other comment is, Kristen, could you go please back to the log, the main page?
This one or this one?
The other one, this one here, that one there. You go to all questions, that you get a different look, don't you, Michelle?
Yeah. It's
a different look that we're used, and it's, again, I think it's more streamlined. At the top, you got a. I'm pointing at the screen. Under all questions, if you do the narrow drop down, you get a menu of various types of questions that you could go to, including pending, unresolved, resolved.
Are you talking about all questions?
Yeah,
if you do that, you got a drop down menu, which is kind of helpful. See?
Yeah, these are all views that have been created over the years, and I cleaned some up. Looks like I still need to clean up a little bit, but yeah, It's handy. And if you look to the right of that, there's a little a funnel. That's how you can filter. So if you want to look at questions, this is one way to filter. This I'm not finding to be very useful. I think if you click all, I'm not sure that this is very useful. So if you go to the top and hit the X to close it, right there. But if you click the down arrow next to topic or keyword, go down. In the list, if you click the down arrow next to the word topic,
Okay, thank you.
then you can filter by, and you can pick your topic.
Oh,
Yeah. Very good.
cool.
So there's a question about how to attach a photo. Do you think you could go in and just show us where you would do that? Nigel, did you have other questions? I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, I do have one more. Michelle, when we enter a new question on the date, the calendar date that comes up is, I wonder if you could make that default to date rather than.
I will check that out. I think I can.
Okay, it's just a one step that we.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll work on that one.
Great. Well done, Michelle. Thank you so much. That's great.
You're welcome.
So Kristen, do you want to open up a new question or an existing question and we can see where the photo option is?
All right, so I clicked on new question, training.
So you don't necessarily have to go all the way.
Etc.
Yeah. So where would
This is
the
spelled wrong.
option for attaching a photo be?
Right down the bottom. Sorry.
Scroll. Just keep scrolling. Add attachments. What do you, let's see. I don't know what I have where, so.
That's
I
okay.
wanna-
You don't need to
attach
actually
your
do-
lawns. And then you would click open. And that's it.
So Vion, does that do that for you? I think that'll probably work for her.
Okay.
So any other questions for Michelle while we're?
Can I just add on that same topic here? When you can add multiple attachments, and it'll stack up, and then you just save, and they all get saved. You don't have to save each one at a time, and it works a lot better.
So maybe if folks want to log in this week and do a little looking around, and if you're feeling at all uncertain, we can have folks meet again to do sort of another tutorial, just kind of a check-in. I'm hoping that folks will go ahead and get on the calendar. And remember, Becca has some protocols on how to check in with your buddy so that you're in good communication. Becca, did you want to go over those at all?
Do you want me to stop sharing? Is that a yes?
Yes, go ahead. Yeah, you can stop sharing and then we can all come back together and close out our meeting.
Cool.
So now that you've gone through traffic, or maybe even later this morning, I'll send out the quick reference guide to logging into our Outlook inbox, as well as where to find that SharePoint folder and how to get into SharePoint, so that you can practice doing it on your own. You can also practice adding your name to the calendar and then stopping a shift now that you've all had this training. And Erica did record this, so if you want to go back through and you're more of a verbal person and you need to be talked through how to log in and everything, we will have a recording of this training this morning. So we've had a lot of people working individually as we were testing this out, but certainly if you want to work with a buddy in the Answer Clinic, you can do that. And then what I tend to do is on Fridays, I look at the week ahead and see who's working in the clinic, and then I send out an email so that you know who your partner is. And then I just touch base with your at the beginning of your shift and determine how you best want to communicate with each other. Some people find, just a phone call every hour and say, okay, I'm going to do this client, this client, this client, and you do these three. Or other people have used Zoom. Other people have used Google Google Chats or Google Meetup. I can't remember what it's called. Jeannie uses that one a lot. So in that email, I give you some recommendations of how you can be in touch with your partner while you work your shifts, because it is a little different than being able to sit side by side with someone like we do at the Answer Clinic. So are there any other questions about the Answer Clinic in general that I might be able to answer?
What have you and Michelle done in your spare time for the last month or so?
We went on vacation.
Yeah. Yeah, and by the way, I am also going on a camping vacation on Thursday. So, and I will be back on the 4th. So, if you find anything that isn't working on the SharePoint site, email me, but just know that if it hits my inbox after Wednesday evening, I will not see it until like the 5th. So, don't be surprised if there's no response for about a week, because I'm going to be at a place that doesn't have any real internet.
That's good for you.
Yeah.
Rock on with that vacation.
Well, I want to thank the three of you have done some phenomenal work here. It's really well organized and functional, and I think even I can operate it. So.
I'm sure you can.
I will say, I mean, since I've worked or served on shifts with the new system versus how SharePoint used to be, these last few months where we were doing the clinic remotely using SharePoint, it was little glitches would occur, or it wouldn't be as easy as when we worked from the clinic. But the new SharePoint that Michelle has set up seems to work well remotely, if that makes it all sense. Or maybe you guys will notice that as well, especially like Nigel pointed out, adding photos is easier, and even opening photos and looking at them is smoother than the old system was. So there are some definite perks to what was a bit of chaos, or not a bit, a lot of chaos, and a lot of things. So
yeah, and I will mention that we don't have a clue about what this is going to look like when we get back in the office, because when we're in the office, typically somebody's been using the Outlook application on one of those computers, and this is all within the web browser. So I don't know if firing up Outlook on the desktop is going to present some problems or not. It's just to be determined. And since we don't have that main page in SharePoint to remind you about what the Garden EM password is, that's something you're going to have to keep in mind. And if you can't get in, to Flowers 47, try Flowers 48. I don't know if we have a mechanism of informing people that the password has changed, or if we even need to do that. There are still some bugs to work out.
Well, and all that information would go out every Friday when I send an email to all the folks who are signed up for the upcoming week. So all of that information goes in there.
Good.
So, yeah.
So if we going back to the office, why could we not just continue to do the same thing from there?
We can.
It seems like, why change it, particularly, I don't know how much money Clark County spends on the kind of machines that we, in hookups, and we're kind of low priority there. So, at home we have pretty good stuff, and you don't need to update your software in the cloud, because that's an automatic thing. It seems like it might be better just to use the things as just a dumb terminal to access the software.
Yep. You're right.
Well, thanks everyone for your persistence and continuing to flow with these changes. It's been stressful, but I just really appreciate everybody sticking with it. We've got a lot of questions coming in, so feel free to get on that calendar.
Yes, please.
Well, have fun. Let me know if you have any problems, questions, find any links that aren't working.
All right. Have a great day.
Thank you for your time, everyone.
Great job. Thank you.